Hi, in this video we will read about apnea of prematurity. Apnea is defined as cessation of breathing for what? For longer than 20 seconds. So there is cessation of breathing for longer than 20 seconds or for any duration if accompanied by cyanosis and bradycardia. The 20-second duration is not a compulsion if there is what? If there is it is accompanied by cyanosis and bradycardia. So this is very important to remember. What's the definition of this apnea of prematurity? What is the definition of apnea? Cessation of breathing for longer than 20 seconds or for any duration accompanied by cyanosis and bradycardia. Apnea is a common problem in the preterm infants. Okay, it is common problem in preterm infants that may result in the that may be result of prematurity or an associated illness. So apnea is a feature of many primary diseases that affect the preterm in many ways. First one is the direct depression of the central nervous system's control of respiration due to hypoglycemia, maybe meningitis, drugs, hemorrhage, or seizures. Disturbances in the oxygen delivery like shock, sepsis, and anemia. Ventilation defects, obstruction of the airway, pneumonia, and muscle weakness. Okay, so these are all the causes that which cause the apnea to be more in the preterm. Right, direct depression can occur, disturbances in the oxygen delivery, and ventilation defects, obstruction of the airway, pneumonia, or muscle weakness. So now coming to the types of apnea. There is obstructive apnea, central apnea, and mixed apnea. Obstructive apnea is characterized by there is absence of airflow but persistent chest wall motion. Example, pharyngeal instability or due to neck flexion. So the chest wall motion will be present. If we count the respiratory rate, the chest wall motion will be present, but there will be absence of the airflow. Negative airway pressure generated during the inspiration may cause pharyngeal collapse. Sometimes it may be due to incoordination of the tongue and the upper airway muscle. So there is some obstruction which is happening. It may be due to pharyngeal collapse, which is occurring why? Because of the negative pressure that is generated during the inspiration, or due to some incoordination of the tongue or the upper airway muscles. So these are causing obstructive apnea. Now coming to the central apnea, it is caused by decreased CNS stimuli to the respiratory muscles. Here both the airflow and the chest wall motions are absent. Okay. Here what is happening? Airflow and chest wall motion is absent. In obstructive one, chest wall motion were present, but there was absence of just airflow. Fine, and in the central, both are absent. Frequency of apnea is inversely related to gestational age. This is an important point. The immaturity of the respiratory centers is manifested by attenuated response to carbon dioxide and paradoxical response to hypoxia that results in apnea. This is happening why? Because of the immaturity of the respiratory centers. Fine. And mixed apnea is the most common pattern of apnea in preterm neonates. Obstructive apnea preceding, which is usually, and followed by the central apnea. This is the mixed apnea, which is the most common pattern of apnea in the preterm neonates. So we saw the types of apnea. We read about the what is the definition of apnea and why preterm are at higher risk. Now coming to the etiology of apnea. What can be the causes of apnea? First one is the central nervous system. There can be intraventricular hemorrhage, drugs, seizures or hypoxic injury, herniation, neuromuscular disorders, leak syndrome, brainstem infarction, general anesthesia and CNS anomalies. So these are all CNS related conditions which can cause apnea. Now there are certain respiratory related conditions also like pneumonia, obstructive airway lesions, upper airway collapse, atelectasis, extreme prematurity, laryngeal reflex, phrenic nerve paralysis, pneumothorax, and hypoxia. These can also cause apnea. There are certain metabolic conditions also like hypoglycemia, hypocalcemia, and both the hypo and hyponatremia, hyperammonemia, acidosis, and hypothermia. These can also cause apnea. Infections like sepsis, meningitis, respiratory syncytial virus, and the pertussis. It can also cause apnea, gastrointestinal like oral feeding, bowel movement, necrotizing enterocolitis, intestinal perforation can also cause apnea. Cardiovascular like hypertension, heart failure, hypovolemia, vagal tone, anemia. These can also cause apnea, and sleep state usually during the REM sleep. Now coming to the clinical manifestation, the incidence of apnea of prematurity varies inversely with the gestational age. Onset of apnea within the first 7 days in a premature infant could be suggestive of apnea of prematurity. Right. So the incidence of apnea, it varies inversely with the gestational age. Onset of the apnea within the first 7 days in a premature infant would be suggestive of apnea of prematurity. So when we are going to call it apnea of prematurity, if onset of the apnea within the first 7 days of premature infant. Okay. In a gestational premature infant in a gestation age of less than 34 weeks, this is called as the apnea of prematurity. So the onset of apnea can be during the first 1 to 2 weeks after birth, but it is often delayed if there is respiratory distress syndrome or causes of respiratory distress. Associated bradycardia increases with the length of preceding apnea and correlates with the severity of hypoxia. Short apnea episodes 10 seconds are rarely associated with the bradycardia, whereas longer episodes more than 20 seconds have a higher incidence of bradycardia. Short oxygen desaturation episodes are normal in neonates, and treatment is not necessarily. After stabilization, the infant should be evaluated for a possible underlying cause. History should be reviewed for the possible cause of secondary apnea, including the perinatal asphyxia, maternal drugs, neonatal sepsis, and feed intolerance. The infant should be examined for the temperature instability, hypotension, jaundice, pallor, cardiac murmur for the PDA, and the poor perfusion. So, the short oxygen desaturation episodes are normal in the neonates, and the treatment is not necessary. But after stabilization of the infant, we should evaluate for a possible underlying cause. History should be reviewed for a possible cause of secondary apnea, including the perinatal asphyxia, maternal drugs, neonatal sepsis, and feed intolerance. The infant should be examined for the temperature instability, hypotension, jaundice, pallor, cardiac murmur for PDA, and the poor perfusion. Now coming to investigations. What investigations would we do in case of apnea of prematurity? So to rule out idiopathic apnea of prematurity from the underlying causes for apnea, the onset of apnea in a previously well preterm neonate after second week of life warrants a prompt investigation. Okay, so if there is what onset of apnea in a previously well preterm neonate after what after second week of life, then we have to do a prompt investigations. We need to do the hemogram, serum sodium, calcium, ammonia, ABG, blood glucose, chest X-ray, neurosonogram, and the sepsis screen. Okay, now coming to the treatment. Gentle tactile stimulation is often adequate therapy for mild and intermittent episodes. Okay. Gentle tactile stimulation is often adequate therapy for mild and intermittent episodes of apnea. The general measures that we need to take are maintain the airway, breathing, and circulation, avoid vigorous suctioning of the oropharynx, avoid oral feeds. Repeated episodes of apnea require bag and mask ventilation. Okay, if there is what? Uh, we have to first avoid the oral feeds, and repeated episodes of the apnea require what? Bag and mask ventilation. Decrease environmental temperature to lower end of the neuro thermoneutral range. Avoid swings in the environmental temperature. Okay, fine. So we have to maintain the temperature to the lower end of the thermoneutral range. And treatment of the underlying cause. If there is any underlying cause, then we have to treat it like it can be sepsis, anemia, polycythemia, hypoglycemia, hypocalcemia, respiratory distress syndrome. Transfuse packed cells if hematocrit is less than 30%. Recurrent apnea of prematurity can be treated with the caffeine or theophylline. If it is happening recurrently, then it can be treated with caffeine or theophylline. Doxapram is effective in the neonates with apnea of prematurity that is unresponsive to methylxanthines. Fine. If it is unresponsive to methylxanthine, then what can be used? Doxapram. Nasal continuous positive airway pressure. that is a CPAP, and a high flow humidification using the nasal cannula 1 to 2.5 liter are therapies for mixed or obstructive apnea. Okay, so in treatment, what we use caffeine and theophylline, we use doxapram, and then what nasal cannula, that is a positive CPAP, a high flow humidification using a nasal cannula are therapies for mixed or obstructive apnea. We are using what CPAP. And CPAP is preferred because of its proven efficacy and safety. CPAP has the ability to split the upper airway and prevent the airway obstruction. Apnea of prematurity, it does not alter the infant's prognosis unless it's severe, recurrent, and refractory to therapy. The associated problems of the intraventricular hemorrhage, IVH, BPD, and the retinopathy of prematurity are critical in determining the prognosis of apneic infants. And apnea of prematurity usually resolves by 37 weeks of post-conceptional age. Sometimes it may persist beyond the term gestation, particularly in extremely preterm infants. Fine. It usually resolves by 37 weeks of the post-conceptional age. And if the baby was extremely preterm, then it may persist after term gestation also. So, what we read in this apnea of prematurity, we first read what is the definition, that is the cessation of breathing for longer than 20 seconds or any duration if it is accompanied by cyanosis and bradycardia. It is a common problem in the preterm infants. We saw the types. It is obstructive, central, and mixed. Obstructive was due to the in obstructive there was absence airflow, but persistent chest wall motion was present. Incoordination of the tongue and the upper airway muscles. Central apnea is caused by decreased CNS stimuli to the respiratory muscles. Here, both the airflow and the chest wall motions are absent. Frequency of the apnea is inversely related to the gestational age. The immaturity of the respiratory centers is manifested by attenuated response to the carbon dioxide and paradoxical response to the hypoxia that results in apnea. And mixed apnea, most common pattern in the preterm neonates. We saw various causes. Then the clinical manifestation, onset of apnea. What was called apnea of prematurity, that is onset of apnea within the first 7 days in a premature infant with a gestational age of less than 34 weeks, is called as the apnea of prematurity. Then we saw certain points that it is associated with the bradycardia, and uh, it correlates with the severity of hypoxia. Fine. Short episodes are not associated with bradycardia, whereas the longer episodes have higher incidence of bradycardia. Now, investigations. Uh, we need to do hemogram, these electrolyte, blood glucose, chest X-ray, neurosonogram, and sepsis screen. Treatment. Gentle tactile stimulation is often adequate therapy for the mild and intermittent episodes. Maintain the airway, breathing, and circulation. Avoid vigorous suctioning. Avoid oral feeds, and related repeated episodes of the apnea require bag and mask ventilation. Lower end of the thermoneutral range should be maintained. We should screen for the underlying cause like sepsis, anemia, polycythemia, hypoglycemia, hypocalcemia, respiratory distress syndrome, and transfusion of the packed hematocrit cell less than 30%. Recurrent apnea of prematurity can be treated with the caffeine or theophylline. Doxapram is effective in the neonates with the apnea of prematurity and unresponsive to methylxanthines. CPAP can be used for mixed or obstructive apnea. Okay. CPAP has a proven preferred because it has of its proven efficacy and safety. CPAP has the ability to split the upper airway and prevent the airway obstruction. Now coming to the last part, that is the prognosis. Uh, Premature infants does not alter apnea of premature does not alter the infant's prognosis unless it's severe, recurrent, and refractory to therapy, and its prognosis mainly depends on the intraventricular hemorrhage if present, BPD, and the retinopathy of prematurity. They are critical in determining the prognosis of apneic infants, and apnea of prematurity usually resolves by 37 weeks of the post-conceptional age. Okay, thank you.